welcome back to another episode of Backstage Pass Podcast. That's right, a Temple University podcast from the CPCA Advising Office. It is a bright morning. It's warm out this week. I don't know why. It's very odd. I'm not feeling the warm weather anymore. I was kind of getting ready for the cold, but now that it's back, I guess I'll let it in for a little longer, whatever. But as always, I'd like to introduce my co-host, Sarah. Sarah, how are you doing?
I'm doing just swell, Ben. How are you doing?
I'm hanging in there. We got a couple weeks left of classes, which is super weird to
Woo!
think about, but we're getting there. We're grinding. We're getting towards the end. But anyway, today we've got a great guest. We've got someone from the FMA region of Boyer, or of CPCA, not of Boyer. That would be dumb because Boyer's music, but I feel like we don't get too many film majors, so this is going to be a fun one. I really enjoy talking to the film kids because I'm such a music guy, so film is like so far out there for me, but I love talking about it. So today's guest is a senior film major. He is a member of Temple's Korean Student Association, has worked with Wandering Studios, and has interned with Soundsight Productions. Currently, he is working on his BFA senior thesis project. We are so excited to welcome him, Josh Hahn. Welcome to the show. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing well. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. So we're just going to go right into it, and we're going to jump into some questions. So first and foremost, we're all Temple students. This is a Temple-run podcast, so we always like to ask questions about Temple pertaining to your Temple life, classes, and all that. And I feel like the most obvious one for a lot of Temple students is, what is your favorite class you're taking this semester?
Definitely, I'm in the directing concentration, so my master class, I kind of wish that was the only class I was taking, just because that is a class where my senior thesis is a part of, and the teachers have always been great in that, and definitely learn a lot practically about production as well as life after graduation, in terms of trying to make it as a filmmaker.
Okay, got it. So you said directing is your concentration specifically then. So
Mhm.
um, I'm not very knowledgeable. I understand the business aspect, I guess, but in terms of directing, I guess what projects primarily would you see yourself directing?
It's a tough one because I feel like the stuff from my past, like filmography, have been like kind of all over the place. I guess drama is a common thread between all of them, but I'm trying to make more things that I normally wouldn't make, just experiment with different genres, because I definitely don't know what my style is now. So I think it's good for me to try a bunch of things and figure it out from there.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. If you
Yeah.
could film anywhere on campus, what would be the most ideal spot in your opinion, and why?
I think it all depends on what I would be trying to film. I have filmed in like a couple spots that I thought were neat. There's this one, and I didn't find this location. Shout out to Connor White. He found a location down in the basement of Annenberg slash Tomlinson, and the hallway just looks super like steampunk, like sci-fi kind of. So I shot like a music video there. He shot like a short film there. That's pretty dope. Um, Behind, I believe Gladfelter, just that architecture in general. It's very. It just doesn't fit within like anything at like the general like campus architecture. So I will like the film. I'm not sure exactly what, but yeah, that's a spot I do want to hit up sometime.
Very cool. And you said
Yeah.
that you've shot a music video down in the Annenberg Tomlinson like kind of basement area. What kind of I was actually kind of surprised to hear that. Was it what was the idea behind the music video to shoot in a location like
Yeah,
that?
it was not too dissimilar from Connor, who his short was like a sci-fi short. So our music video was like a narrative one, so like slash kind of experimental. Um, we try to make it out to seem like a corridor in a spaceship. So we put like really long neon lights running down the hallway. Um, yeah, so like there's an aspect of that's just like one scene of the music video. Pretty short, pretty quick, but hopefully it turns out well. We're still editing it, so once that drops, hopefully people can appreciate at least that part.
Yeah, for sure. I guess something I just thought of was whenever you're shooting either a scene or maybe a whole project like on campus and you have to do like a not a weird like assembly of a set, but I guess like if you're bringing things that make people kind of like turn the other cheek and just so they're like, oh, what's going on there or something like that. How often do you have people come up to you to be like, what's going on or like, what are you doing or stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really filmed too much at Temple. And when I haven't really done sort of big sets like that or sets that would draw the people's attention. I do remember like one time, and this wasn't like anything that I was directing, but it was for like a film class, and me and my friends were um filming this one project like right in front of the bell tower. Um and we my friend clearly had a camera rig and was following this person, the actor, and this guy came up to us and wasn't even really like drawn to the camera stuff. He was just in the middle of when we were shooting, just handed us like, hey, like business cards and flyers and talking to us and like we're filming right now. Like, come on. But yeah, I
Jeez.
haven't really experienced anything like that. But I mean, it certainly does happen. Like it's something that's different and strange. So it would draw people's attention. So yeah,
Yeah, it's always interesting. I know a lot of the theater kids are. I'm a theater major, and they have to take like sword play and stuff. So they're
mhm.
carrying like they're like fake like not sharpened weapons and everything. But people are like, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "I'm just walking to class. Like, please leave
They
me
look like
alone."
real swords though. Like
Yeah, they have to like wrap them up in blankets so they don't get like run down by the campus police. It's
Screw that. I would take the sword out and I'd act proud
oh
with
my
it in my
god,
hand.
no.
I would I would dress in the full nines of like a Viking and like have that fake sword with me.
that
That
would
way not only will will people look at you, but they won't even approach you because they're gonna be too just freaked out about what's going on.
Yeah,
But
I mean, you never know what's gonna happen. You might need that fake sword just in case of like a self-defense situation. But
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
see, there you go. You never know.
yeah, when it comes to actual self-defense, I'm not sure how effective that is because it is a fake sword.
Oh my gosh. So with a lot of the classes that you're taking, I'm sure you're super busy. I just hear the film majors are just always super, super busy.
Mhm.
And with how busy you are, I hope you find time to like grab a snack in between classes or you're able to pick up food somewhere or whatever. So obviously there are too many 7-Elevens around campus. If you were to have a go-to snack at 7-Eleven, what would it be?
It's a tough one. I don't really um snack often. Um, I guess beef jerky. I do like beef jerky, although it is kind of a
Yeah.
scam because they like there's just 50% air, 50% like bits of beef jerky. But I still appreciate it. Um, like a Cliff Bar here and there. I don't like getting anything too sweet because I crash pretty often off that. But I will say I've been a faithful and a consistent advocate for the J&H Dining Hall. I mean I live off camp. I commute, so I can't really eat there regularly. But when I lived off campus, like 5 minutes off campus, I would go there every day. I didn't learn how to cook at all. I just would eat.
I
Yeah,
mean, look, when it's there, it's there, you know?
yeah, yeah,
You take what is in your surrounding area.
definitely.
That's for sure. You know what's funny? The last time I was in the J&H cafeteria, it was I want to say it was last year and it was I guess they were doing they were like finishing up orientations or transfer student orientations or something like that. But like not like orientations for like, CPCA, but like actually doing tours. And at
Mm.
one point I heard through the grapevine that they were giving out like free meals for like one swipe for like each student got a free meal. So I dragged my roommates all the way to J&H and I was like, yo, like we're going to get a free meal right now. But we didn't realize that it was only for the people in the tour. So we stood in line and waited the entire time. And then we went up. I scanned my card and the lady was like, can you scan it again? So I scanned it again. She was like, are you a orientation leader? I was like, no, I'm a student. She was like, yeah, this isn't for you. And I got really mad. I was like, why? I want food. But it's fine. I ended up just
God.
bailing and getting Chick-fil-A. Sad
Ooh.
time, but it's okay.
I don't
J&H.
think I've been. I don't think I've been to J&H Dining Hall since freshman year. I
Oh
miss
wow.
it. I'm like, oh my God, it's
I
been.
mean, I certainly understand why people don't like the food there. I've just been eating school lunches like every day since I was a kid, so my palate is kind of, this is like a step above. Yeah.
Yeah, gotta love it. It's been a while, but yeah, I totally get it. With so you said you're a commuter now, so I guess this wouldn't necessarily apply to you for this year, but for when you were on campus, what would be a go-to study spot? Whether it was your dorm, it was the library, or maybe just one of the classrooms in one of the halls.
Yeah. So I actually, when Paley was still a thing, freshman and yeah, freshman year and like a little bit of sophomore year, I believe, mostly freshman. The quiet zone in Paley was the absolute best, because it was actually just dead silent and there was one or two other people there. I could really, because I'm the type of person that I can't do work in my room. I have to get away from all the distractions and go to like a secluded spot. So yeah, I got a lot of work done there and it was just a very peaceful environment. Like there were even sometimes like, I'm not sure if I'm revealing too much, but occasionally there would be like one or two homeless people that would be like sleeping like near me. And I think it's like it must have been like a nice sort of guardian angel working at Paley Library that let them in. And they never, they were just sleeping. They never bothered anyone. And it was
Yeah.
winter, so I understood. But yeah, it was a really a nice spot. And then, I like Charles now. And the quiet zone's all right there, but it's just not as dead silent as it was before. Um, like I said, I commute now, so I mostly just work in my dad's office or at like another library.
Yeah. It's funny that you brought up Paley because I was just thinking the other day. I've only been there maybe 3 times total.
Mm.
2 of them for going to a class that we randomly had to get reassigned for just those 2 classes. And another time I was going to see an event in the basement. But the one thing I'll never forget is walking in there and having to walk through those like quiet zones.
Mm.
And with how quiet it was, I was afraid to walk because I knew my book bag would rattle or I would have keys dangling
Yeah.
from my like pocket. And so I was always like concerned, like, damn, I'm going to like get kicked out. I feel like people are going to get really mad, but it's true. It got really quiet. I can imagine it being a fantastic place to study.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Do you guys
yeah.
know if Paley's still open or is that just closed?
I was actually just thinking that. I think it
think
is.
they are, but I think they've like morphed into some type of like I think they've made the whole library space into classrooms with like dividers. I don't know. I walk past it every day from the train, so I'm always like, what's in there? What's going on?
Yeah,
But
I'm
I
curious.
also think they made it into one of the COVID testing sites.
Yeah.
So I don't know like who can go in or like what's I don't know. I might have to like go on an adventure to figure that out.
Yeah. I will find out before I graduate for sure.
For sure. Um, so tell us more about all the student orgs that you work with, because you have a pretty big rep of different organizations that you're in. So I'm curious to know about like each one of them.
Yeah. So I didn't really like get into making films and whatnot until pretty much freshman year of college. I mean, I did a little bit of TV production in high school. Well, a lot, like every year I did that. And like I took a film appreciation class when we made like stuff on our iPhones, but I don't really count that. But yeah, like my first like big film for me, or like legit film for me, in terms of like how a set works, in terms of like being in like one designated role and like working with others. I did with Wandering Studios, which was awesome because it was a dope club because they let pretty much anyone, as long as you apply for it, and like they'll look it over, but you don't necessarily have to have experience to get the role you want to. And I knew I wanted to direct, so I just applied for that, and I got it for this one film. It was like a mockumentary about like this one guy who's a vigilante against birds. Yeah, which kind of fits for me because I do have like a irrational fear of birds too, so maybe subconsciously I was drawn to it. But yeah, that was a huge learning experience, and it sort of ignited my interest even more. So I did that and a lot of like class projects. I try to really do my best, and I didn't really start doing like stuff outside of the classroom, like on my own projects, until maybe like the internship I got, which um, gave me the opportunity to direct like two stuff, um, and I had like a little bit of creative involvement in like the writing process. But yeah, I guess more so the stuff I like. I mean, I always want to like um whenever I get a chance in classes, they allow you the opportunity to write your own stuff. So I've always used that as an opportunity for my own like quote unquote passion projects at the time. So I've never felt the need to do stuff outside the classroom, but this year I've really started to like write my own stuff, and plan on making stuff outside the classroom next semester once I'm done the thesis project, because that experience itself is just valuable as well, because I'm not always going to have the academic setting to do all this.
Yeah. So with all these different will you be taking other like peers from your classes at Temple, or will you literally be like reaching out to just like different forums online or different Facebook groups, be like, hey, like I need actors, or like, hey, I need camera people, or anything like that? Is that something that you like to keep tight knit within the Temple community, or is that something like you don't mind outsourcing?
I think in terms of the crew, definitely Temple people, just because I know them, I've forged relationships with them, and some of the stuff I'm planning to, I've already like planned to make stuff with them. So in terms of crew, yeah, definitely telling people. Plus, I know the portfolio, and know like how they work on set. So yeah, that stuff I want to keep with Temple. But obviously not like I'm not married to that idea. Whoever's best for it will be great. In terms of like acting, I have worked with Temple actors before, and they've been great. But I've also worked equally as much with Backstage people, which is like a website where you could contact any actors. So yeah, in terms of actors, that's just more of an open thing. Whoever is best for the role. But yeah, in my past, I have worked with a lot of Temple people, and I hope to continue to work with more Temple people, because they're awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing I actually just thought of is during like projects like this where you are casting like actors and all that, do you actually sit in on auditions, or do you have like a final say in who gets picked, or do you have someone else do that to make
Yeah,
sure
I
your dream come?
yeah, typically I believe in like professional, legit productions. They just have a casting director, and the director doesn't usually sit in, but obviously, I'm a student filmmaker. I'm nowhere near that. And plus, it's just easier if I do sit in, because I can know right there and then if they're right for the role or not. So yeah, all this stuff I've casted for my past projects, and this project as well. I've tried to sit in on and try to get like the producer in there as well, or someone else that could read the lines and get another eye on their like scheduling and logistics. Um, so yeah, I try to sit in a lot.
Very cool, very cool. With it being your senior year and you're not actually on campus, you're commuting. What is that like? Has that been a difficult experience? Has it been a good experience? I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely not as um, easy and convenient when you're like living off campus or on campus. But I've managed. It hasn't been too much of a hindrance. I live like 30-40 minutes away. Um, I just have to leave earlier and yeah, that's fine. I mean, I do have a night class which ends at 8:50 and the drive back and it's kind of tiring, especially if I have work to do after. But I mean, I haven't really complained too much about that.
I was gonna say, are you primarily online classes or primarily in person still?
I have I think it's actually right down the middle. I have two online classes and two um in person, I believe. Yeah, two in person.
Okay, so it's actually not even too bad. I was thinking maybe it was like all in person. I was thinking, man, I could
No.
imagine that, getting really difficult to schedule, but it sounds like you've been able to do it pretty effectively. So, I mean, that's awesome. I think
What's
people
it
could learn a
like?
thing or two.
What's it like driving? Because I'm also a commuter, but I take the train because I like that would stress me out too much if I had to deal with driving and Philly traffic and all that crazy stuff.
Yeah. No, I certainly get that. The train is really like really convenient. Yeah, I mean, I've driven that route so many times just because my friends also live off campus. Whenever I want to hang out with them, I use that route. And the route I take is very easy. It's just other crazy Philly drivers I have
Yeah.
to watch out for. But yeah, I haven't experienced like too many crazy drivers. And I used to be a DoorDash driver sophomore
Ugh.
year or junior year rather. And I've had my like experience with crazy drivers and just crazy experiences on my end. So that part of me is a bit callous. I'm kind of used to it. As long as nothing happens to my car, I'm fine.
Yeah, I totally get that. That's exact. I mean, I have my car currently off campus with me just cuz I work a lot. But yeah, at the end of the day, as long as I know my car is still in there one piece and wherever I go, then it's all good. I'm fine. It's chill. There's a lot of other crazies out there. I know that, but as long
Yeah.
as I'm okay at the end of the day and my car is fine, then all is well in the world.
This isn't like really related to anything, but I used to work at an insectarium last summer, and I would just like bring like spiders and lizards in like a bin, all in their own like travel containers,
Whoa.
and bring them to like YMCA's. And I was driving to a gig one day at a stoplight, just listening to a podcast, and then this guy just rear ends me like really hard, and the animals just like jolt. I'm like, what the hell? And I go out and I just, what's going on? And like, were you just not looking? And you just, yeah, man, I'm sorry. And luckily nothing happened in my car, but I was like, dude, just look at the road next time, please.
Yeah, get your
Oh
eyes
my
off
God.
your
And not the
phone.
animals. That would have been like,
Yeah,
would have
the
been
animals turned out
crazy.
fine.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that was a scary experience.
It's the people on their phones, man. I'm telling
Yeah,
you, it's
yeah,
people just become so careless all of a sudden. I
yeah,
don't I don't get it. Just put it down, just for a little bit. But yeah, so yeah, that's good to know that commuting though hasn't been super difficult. Which I'm always fascinated by students that commute because I've had a bunch of friends from high school that commuted and they were very much like it was either the best decision that they made or it was the worst, and I can never find a middle ground. So I'm always just like, I wonder where people are with it. So it sounds like it's been more of a good thing in your eyes.
yeah, yeah. And I'm only taking like again two of my classes are in person. So and one of them is Tuesday, Thursday. So it's not too much of a time commitment for me. And like it's classes I all want to take. So yeah, it's been mostly positive.
We also hear that you're a child of missionaries and have lived overseas. Can you tell us more about that too?
Yeah. So we're Korean American, and I was born in Los Angeles. My parents sort of, you know, were very religious, like since they were like kids. So they got the a calling to sort of go out in the field, and specifically China, to spread the faith, I guess. And yeah, we went there when I was like 5, I believe, or like 4. Um, Stayed there for a year, and they felt that they needed more training in terms of like how to do all this. So we actually moved back to this one missionary organization slash like commune here where I live right now, and got the training for like a year. And we moved back to China after we got the training. Lived in one city for a year and then moved to like another city. Lived there up until when I was like in 4th grade. And then we moved back to Los Angeles for a year for like a break for furlough. Um,
Wow.
Lived there for a year and then moved back to that same city. Lived there for 2 years. Um, and then we moved. My sister had to go to college, and we're sort of, I think my parents were done with the missionary field, because they feel like they accomplished what they needed to. So we moved back to Los Angeles. Well, more so like I lived in Los Angeles for like the summer, but we were like really poor. So um, my parents were like, do you want to live in this church in like South Central? And I was like, no. And like, well, okay, you could live in the mountains in this like retreat center, like Christian retreat center, with this one pastor and like your close family friends. So I lived there for like a year for 7th grade, and it was a good experience. My close family friends, they treated me like a brother, um, in the best ways and the worst ways. Like as both do. It was a rowdy bunch. But the one pastor there, she was really nice and took care of me like a grandmother. So we lived there for a year. Great experience overall. And then my parents were like, it kind of sucks living here. So we moved here for 8th grade, where I live now, and I have been living ever since. So yeah, a lot of movements in
Yeah,
my life.
for real. Especially since you said you like came back here and have stayed here around 8th grade.
Yeah.
So you had to
Yeah.
have been what, like 14 years old?
Yeah,
So
14.
for the first 14 years of your life, you were moving around a lot. That's
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, that's a lot. That's insane. Wow.
yeah.
Like I guess just coming from someone where I've never moved anywhere, like what I knew in my life is kind of what I grew up with. Like I can only imagine what that would be like to move around so much. Did you I mean, whenever you were overseas, whenever you would move out there, like would you find similar housing or would it be like completely different spaces every time?
Mostly apartments. Lots of apartments in China. Um, yeah, like I don't think I've ever seen like one actual like suburban looking house there. Just a ton of people. Um, yeah, and my experience there was actually a lot of fun, and I had just a great time there. I went to an international school there, so I mean, English is my first language, but that helped me sort of continue on that path of learning the language. And I had lots of diverse friends. It was a super diverse school. Lots of Koreans, but like Americans, Brits, New Zealanders, Japanese, like just everywhere. So it was a good place to learn about all those cultures, and yeah, I had a lot of fun. I do wish, as a kid, you're drawn to what's most comfortable.
Yeah.
So I didn't really want to learn Mandarin. I learned a little bit because they taught us that at school, but I did the bare minimum to pass. You know, if I were to go when I was, you know, at this age, I certainly would have made an effort to learn more Mandarin and just make more Chinese friends, and sort of lose myself in the culture. Um, but yeah, I still had a wonderful time there. Um, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, you make the best of where you're at, and it sounds like you certainly did. It sounded like it was a great experience overall.
Mhm.
That's awesome. So you said you live about 30, 40 minutes away from Philly, so like outskirts. Are you west, north, south? Obviously,
Fort
probably.
Washington. So like
Oh, okay. So like the
north.
Ambler area.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you're literally right by the Ambler campus. Then that
Hmm.
means.
Yep.
Okay, wait. Did you go to Upper Dublin for high school?
I actually went to Plymouth Whitemarsh. I could have gone to Upper Dublin,
Okay,
because I was like closer to them, but I think where I'm living, like the county lines sort of literally like run right across where I live.
got it.
I could have gone either. I went to middle school at like that district, so I made my friends there, and I didn't want to like be the new kid again, so I went with PW, which was also a great school.
Yeah,
What high
the
school
only
did you guys go
reason.
to?
Well, see, I didn't actually go. I didn't live in that area. I actually lived
Okay.
the complete opposite. I lived south of Philadelphia, so I was like Garnet Valley, Delaware County area.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
my one roommate is from Fort Washington, which is what made
Mm,
me think of it. He went to Upper Dublin for high school, so I was like,
gotcha.
oh, that'd be funny. If they were both at the same high school at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What about you, Sarah? What high school did you go to?
I went to Methacton. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah,
oh, not some people are like, what did you say? And I'm like, it's like in that area, but it's kind of
yeah.
like
I've
close.
never, like we never like played sports against each other, but like I definitely know of the fact, and I
Yeah.
don't. I know like one guy that like used to go there. He I like worked at a restaurant with, but yeah, don't know too much. I know of the school, obviously.
Yeah,
It's
good
fun. It's
stuff.
always so funny because I feel like a lot of Temple kids are like from around ish the Philly area, and then we're kind of like, oh wait, we kind of live not too far from each
Yeah,
other.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it is
Lots of people
definitely
from
weird.
Toronto. Then you meet like the occasional like one person. It's like, yeah, I'm from like California. And just,
Yeah, and I'm like, what
how
are you doing?
how did you even find out about Temple? Like, what?
Exactly, right? Like I only know about it because like everyone who
Yeah,
went to my high school goes to Temple. So
yeah.
That was basically me too. I'm pretty sure a third of my graduating class ended up choosing Temple, which
yeah,
is
it's like
funny
Temple
because
or Penn State.
yeah,
Yes.
it's funny because I feel like I've ran into maybe I probably run into like two people every semester that I went to high school with, which
Mm.
is surprising considering there were like 100 of us that went to Temple. It's
Yeah.
Yeah,
super bizarre.
I think the CPCA environment like helps with the escapism from the high school culture because I know like I think I'm the only one who went into theater from my graduating class and then or at least to Temple for theater. And yeah, like everyone else who goes here, it's like the College of Liberal Arts. And I was like, I've never set foot in there. I will never set foot in there. So
Yeah, it is
Super
definitely is good to like if you're from the surrounding area, it is easy to fall back on your friend group that like is from that and goes to Temple. But I've started to really try to expand and meet new people. Like since I've moved like back home and like started commuting.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I don't think it's bad expanding your friend group as long as you know you'll always have those high school friends still there. Like at the end of
Yeah,
the day, I think
for sure.
expanding is not a bad idea at all. But so I'm curious. So you are working on your BFA senior thesis project currently. Is this something that is spanning the entire year or just this semester?
I guess it is the entire year, but we're trying to shoot this pretty much like right when this semester ends, during like the winter intern period. But yeah, when it comes to editing, that's going to be mostly next semester, and will take probably a couple months to do. So yeah, like technically a year long thing.
Okay, so I guess for what you can say about it, could you tell us a little bit more about it, maybe of what it's on? I mean, I don't know how much you want to spoil, so I don't
Yeah,
want you
yeah,
to
no,
feel like you
yeah, that's
have to
fine.
spoil too much.
Yeah. So the general like one line I give people is the story is called Revival, and it follows a young Korean American drug dealer and his friends who, due to certain circumstances, have to steal a large offering from a rival drug dealer that attends the same church that the main character's father ministers. I know that's a mouthful and a kind of like a convoluted one-liner. Um, but yeah, like general, sort of overview is that they're trying to steal this money from a drug dealer at a church, but that church also happens to be the same place where the main character's father's pastor of.
Whoa, that sounds insane.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Is there any inspiration behind it from like where did the idea come from?
Yeah. Definitely lots of personal things added in there. I was never a drug dealer, if that's
Well, that's good.
uh,
Let's clear that out of the air for anyone
but
watching.
yeah, it basically, I mean, I wrote it for my screenwriting class second semester junior year, and our professor just told us, write three things that you think would be good ideas, and I just sort of, I wasn't thinking, and I just wrote three ones, and I chose this one. And as I continued to shape the later drafts, it started to mirror things in my life, such as, being in a hyper religious environment while also straddling another world, another sphere that's sort of the opposite of that, and just trying to reconcile the two. So that's like the general like concept behind it, and that doesn't necessarily have to, whoever like does watch it eventually doesn't have to necessarily relate to the religious aspect. Like I'm sure people have all been in a point in their lives where uh, they live in two different spheres, two different worlds, and they're unsure as to which one they want to continue with, or they're unsure if they could reconcile the two.
Wow. That's
Sounds amazing.
that sounds
Thank you.
so good.
I mean, hopefully we
Wow.
could execute it, as well. Like, there's always people always have great ideas, but it's a matter of just executing it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I am following you on social media, so whenever you drop that, I know you drop it. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
please, please.
that's awesome. Do you have a specific time frame where you would want to drop it, or are you still very much in that not focusing on the final deadline?
Well, I mean, I do know we have to have something ready for the BFA screenings, like the showcase around May.
Okay.
So, I mean, we got to have something done around then, and I just would like to have it done around then because, and not to rush anything, but I do want to submit this to film festivals, and they have certain deadlines. So, yeah.
Absolutely. That's amazing, dude. Seriously. I am so stoked for you and
Thank
all
you.
of that to happen. That sounds so cool. Um but we are towards the end of this interview, and what we like to do at the end is we like to play a little game. So I don't know if you know the game, but it's called This or That, or better known as Coke or Pepsi, where it's quite literally we just give you a bunch of things to pick between, and you just got to pick one of them. The catch is we're only giving you 60 seconds to answer about 15 different ones. And if you can do it successfully, we give you a virtual high five because we can't give you anything else. But yeah, so we've had lots of people be able to complete it. We've had lots of people that have not been able to complete it. I'd say at this point it's pretty much 50-50 with how many people have been able to beat it and how many people have not been able to beat it. But
And I have to choose one or the other, right?
you have to choose one or the other.
Okay. Do I get
Yes.
like is this like a BuzzFeed personality test where I get like something like written up about me at the end based off my
No, but that would be amazing.
We should
I
start
feel like we
doing
need to
that,
work that
though.
into this. Like a psychoanalysis.
Yes, psychoanalysis. That's totally accurate.
Yeah, we should start like having So we should just have someone on the side, like, that's not on camera, that's like writing something up. So
I feel
that
like
when we-
Brianna, one of our peer advisors, I feel like Brianna would be good at that.
Oh yeah,
Like,
for
we need to
sure.
Get her on this
Oh,
project.
100%. We're gonna make it happen now. But we're gonna have Sarah asking the questions, and I'm going to be keeping the timer just on my phone.
Okay.
Any questions that you have?
60 seconds, right?
60 seconds total. That's all you
Okay.
get.
All right. Yeah, I think I got this. Seems
All right.
relatively easy.
All right, let's do it. So we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Wawa or 7-Eleven?
Wawa.
Book or film?
Film.
Saxby's or Richie's?
Richie's.
Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix.
Maxie's or Philly style?
Philly style.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
TV or movie?
Movie.
Football or basketball?
Football.
The Sack or food truck?
Sack.
Savory or sweet?
Savory.
Close up or wide shot?
Close up.
Charles or Paley?
Paley.
J or H?
J.
Drama or comedy?
Comedy.
Writing or directing?
Directing.
Oh my god, I think you won. I think that's the fastest anyone's ever done that.
Yo, Josh really took the rules at hand and was like, I'm gonna be the best
my
at this
God.
game. Right
Listen, some of them like I'm not too like connected with the answer. Like I kind of just said one of the words. Like Richie's and Maxie's. Richie's, Saxby's. I don't drink coffee, so like I don't like either of them. I just chose one.
That's how you win. That's how
you take off the face of what you believe and you just say the first thing that comes to your head. Wow.
Yes,
Oh my
you lose
God.
your integrity, you lose your identity, and
And you win this game.
I win a virtual high five. Yeah.
You want to? Yeah, there you go. You got it.
Here we go. Here we go.
That's so funny. Like right when we started, and it was Wawa 7-Eleven, and I heard you just go for it. I was like, oh, this is gonna be.
I was like,
done
oh God.
in like 40
I need to
seconds.
start writing like 30 questions. Like,
Well, that one was easy because
Because
I
Wawa's
think most
superior.
people- Yes.
Yeah. Duh.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
Yes.
You'd be a fool to think otherwise. Well, anyway, we just witnessed history on this episode.
Was it
Insanity.
the fastest anyone's gotten?
Oh, easily.
Definitely. Because
I think-
everyone was like, one has had like 1 or 2 seconds left. You had like 20.
Oh.
You had a straight 15 seconds flat.
Oh my God.
Yeah, maybe I should have spent more time on the answer.
Nah, you just really wanted that virtual high five. I get it.
Yeah.
Well,
That's crazy.
anyway, that just about wraps up this episode. Josh, thank you so much for coming on. I love talking to FMA majors, and you just reignited my passion to start talking about film again with people.
No,
So
thank you.
so much for being on. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It really has been fun with you guys.
Oh, thank you. As always, I would like to thank Sarah, my co-host. Without her, we would not be able to do this because she's the backbone to everything we do. So, Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank you guys. This has been so fun.
Absolutely. And if you'd like to stay up to date with anything CPCA advising related or just Backstage Pass related, go ahead and follow us on social media at CPCA_advising. You can stay up to date with anything. It's still priority registration for most people. So if you really need to be in touch, social media is where you get all your information. So, with that said, my name's Ben. We'll see you guys next week. And thank you for joining us. Peace. Have a good weekend.